Kiro is one of the AI Agentic IDE that is available in the market today. It is something similar to other tools like Cursor, Windsurf, which will help you build software using AI assisted development. And the specialty of Kiro is that it is a kind of spec driven development. This is how the interface of Kiro looks, and if you see here, the spec driven capability is built into the tool. So you have a spec approach where you can first plan, create the requirement design before starting the development, or you can choose the vibe mode, which is for more like a prototype, or you want to quickly fix or add some feature. But if you want to do it in a detailed way, you select the spec option, and that is the power of Kiro. So let's see what the problem that Kiro is trying to solve. So normally what happens with vibe coding is that we give a requirement to the AI system, it starts building, in between it may lose context, and it is difficult to get back to the correct point. We may have to spend a lot of time explaining what we want, and adding any new changes may result in something else getting changed. So there are all these kind of issues. So that is why Kiro has specifically introduced spec driven development. So in spec driven development, there is always a context that is available to the AI system, and the documentation is a living document, and it is available even at a later stage. When you come back a few months later, you can have features built and it can refer what was already built. So how does Kiro achieve this? They basically use like a 3-phase flow. So initially in the spec driven mode, when we give a particular requirement, it goes ahead and starts building the user stories, and it creates an output requirements.md file with all the details. The next step is the design phase, where it starts documenting all the architecture decisions and on a high level what it is planning to do. And the third step is it creates the task document file, which has a structured task list. So it breaks down each step that it plans to do, and there are individual tasks created, and we can execute one task at a time. And during all this process, we as the humans are still available. We will be reviewing, and we can provide suggestion, we can ask for changes, and the requirements design or task, everything can be changed. Okay, so when is Kiro best used for? So if it is like if you're building an enterprise type of application and you have complex requirements, you have a lot of team members, then this structured way of development would suit you very well, and this would be the best tool for that. But if you're just trying some prototype, some script, or some small code, then maybe this is not the correct approach. There is still the vibe mode for this, so you don't have to go for the spec driven mode, because it feels like it takes more time to build in the spec driven development way. Okay, now let's jump and see a demo of this application. Okay, now let's dive into building a sample demo project using the spec driven development. I'm going to ask this AI to build a Kanban board in React and Node.js. So let's see how Kiro goes about doing that work. It has started the process. Okay, so it's asking a basic set of questions. Let me say basic columns and drag and drop. Okay, so now it is started the process. It is going to create the spec document. Okay, so now we have the requirements document being created, and it is writing user stories, the acceptance criterias for that, And here you can see it is in the first step where it is building the requirements, and once the requirements are complete, it will move to the design phase and then the task creation phase. Okay, so it has documented few user stories with acceptance criteria, and it has started writing. It has the technical requirements that it will use backend Node.js and front-end React with React DND libraries. And also it has documented a set of non-functional requirements and listed out what are out of scope. So now that the requirements has been complete, let's move on to the next phase. So I have accepted the requirements that Kiro has generated. It is now going into the design phase. Okay, so now we have the design document being created. Basically, it has listed out a high level system architecture and the technology stack to be used in front end, back end, and the high level database designs as well. So I'm accepting the design and moving on to the next phase, which is the task list creation. Okay, so now we have the task being created, and let's see what all tasks. So basically, after all the tasks are created, we'll have a start task button that appears, and at the top we have the run all tasks as well if you want to trigger all the tasks together. Basically what happens is that when you start a particular task, it starts with that task, and you can queue the next task. So like task 1 will be started, and then you click on task 2, it will queue the task and start it like after task 1 has been completed. Okay, so right now you can see it has created a detailed task list. You have like the first we are having the initialized project structure, and on top of each task we have a start task which we can run. So we have the project structure being created initially, and then we have the backend foundation, we have the front end foundation, database layer, and so on. So you can see like clearly the first task is the project setup, and that is further broken down into back end, front end, and then you move on to the back end API implementation, where you have the database layer, API endpoints, everything being created, and following that you have the basic board layout and so on. So you can see here this is like a really detailed task list that has been generated. It's almost like a enterprise project, and you can go ahead and start the task. So I'll just start one task to show how it is. Okay, so I clicked on the task 1.1. So what happens is you can see it has started executing that task now. Okay, so now since the tasks have been created, let me accept the tasks as well. So that's it. So you can see like how powerful this tool is. We went from a one line requirement statement. From that we got a comprehensive requirement document, followed by a design document and a detailed breakdown with tasks. And at any point of time we have the flexibility to check and request for changes, and that would result in the task list being updated. And with that, we have reached the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.